Welcome, everyone, to this week's episode of Hot Topic Tuesday, Legal Leaders. I'm Zach Sutty. We have Al Fragnoli. Al, some interesting topics this week in the Detroit market. Coach Gardenhire, Gardy as they call him, retired after a long career in Major League Baseball. Stunning news, I think, especially since it was effective immediately. What are your thoughts on the sudden retirement, and how are things in Detroit?
Yeah, it was a sad day, Zach. We found out Saturday afternoon, right before their ball game, that he made the announcement. He said a lot of it was health issues. He said he was planning to retire at the end of the season, but for whatever reason, with a little over a week left, he felt that the time was right. He mentioned family being a big important factor, and he wanted to be able to spend some quality time with his wife, his children, and his grandkids, which you got to respect. But as far as the mood, I guess in Michigan and the Metro Detroit area, it was definitely sad news. The Tigers they're still probably 2-3 years away from being competitive and really competing for a division title, especially with the AL Central and how strong that division has been this year, and should be in the next few years. He really had the club playing really well in the shortened 60-game season. A lot of young talent still in Detroit, and he had those guys really believing in themselves, playing hard, and really being competitive. So he's a great manager, probably the best that this city has seen since Sparky Anderson back in the 70s and 80s here in Detroit, which was a long time ago. Jim Leland was a fantastic manager as well, but Gardenhire is definitely a huge loss to the Detroit Tigers organization, and obviously everybody wishes him the best, and hopefully he can get healthy again and enjoy time with his family and his loved ones. But he's going to be missed in that clubhouse. That there's no question about that.
Yeah, I read an article, and I wish I could remember who wrote the article, but what they stated was this may have been a 60-game season, but it feels like a 175-game season. The challenges with I hate bringing it up every week that we talk about it, but COVID, the stresses, it's a different atmosphere, it's different challenges, and it does have extra added stress on so many different uh, uh, you know um, things in your everyday life, and it also puts in perspective what's important to you. So if your health is suffering, whether it's because of stress or past health issues. I know he battled cancer. He had heart issues. So his health needs to be first and foremost. And I think he made the decision with his family, which is a very important. So I think one thing this COVID-19 outbreak has really done is put into perspective what's important to some people, and those who've had long, successful careers, um, like Gardy, I think gives him an opportunity to sit back and say, I want to enjoy life with my family and my grandkids. And I don't think you can fault anyone for that. Good for him. I wish him the best in getting healthy and taking care of himself, and hopefully finding an outlet to enjoy himself, in other ways, whether it's, teaching the grandkids to play some ball.
Yeah, you definitely got to respect that decision. You're spot on, Zach. And I think a lot of people whether you're in the sports industry or not, doesn't really matter. I think one thing that we've all learned from probably COVID is that family and friends are the most important thing you have, and to rely on. And you certainly cannot fault Ron for stepping away. He felt it was in his best interest and best interest of his family, and he made that decision. And he's, like I said, he's going to be missed, certainly, but I think everybody around town understands the reasoning behind it. So we'll see who the next manager is, but we might take Don Kelly from the Pirates. That's a name that's floating around. Lloyd McClendon, former Pirate manager and current coach for the Tigers, is another name. So we'll see what happens. But Gardy is certainly going to be missed in the Motor City. He's done a lot of good things in the last 3 years here. Um,
And speaking from Pittsburgh residents and Pirate fans, you can't have Donnie Kelly yet.
we'll give him a little bit of time. We'll see what his decision is. Um, we'll transition a little bit from baseball and go into college football. Obviously, the big news this past week is the Big Ten made an announcement, and they are going to be playing college football this fall. After all, they're going to look to start the weekend of October 23rd, 24th. So we're still about 4 weeks or so away from their official start date. They're going to do an 8-game schedule. Followed by championship weekend is what they'll call it, and they'll have everybody will be taking part in that. You'll obviously have your number one from each division that'll play each other for the conference crown, but then 2 against 2, 3 against 3, and so on and so forth, which will be nice to see. So everybody will get a 9-game schedule, and in the event that somebody does run the table and go undefeated, which might be the Ohio State Buckeyes, as much as it pains me to say that, they'll be able to take part in the college football playoff, which is big news as well. Then we also have the SEC starting their season a little bit late, and they get started this weekend. So you got some SEC action. No non-conference games are obviously eliminated for them, so they'll start their conference play this weekend. Not a ton of big matchups on the schedule. Probably the biggest one is you got 23 ranked Kentucky going up against 8th ranked Auburn. But that's about it. But definitely exciting news in the college football world. Zach, what are your thoughts about the SEC starting this weekend and obviously the big announcement coming from the Big Ten?
I think it's great to have some college football to look forward to. Again, getting back to that sense of normalcy, as much as there is, playing conference games and having some sort of playoff. Um, you know, being from Pennsylvania, you got Penn State University, who are going to be competitive this year, and looking forward to New Year's Day. It's going to be an opportunity to have some good bowl games with as many teams that are participating now in college football. You can fill almost every bowl game. So it's nice to have that to look forward to. I'm just hoping that it's executed, keeping everybody safe, healthy, and that it happens. Everything seems to be working. NHL's, their plan has come through. They're in the Stanley Cup playoffs or finals. I'm sorry. Baseball coming towards the end of their season. NBA. These plans have worked. And they've been successful, and I'm hoping college football can do the same. A little bit more of a challenge in college football with students going to school and going to classes and classrooms and living on campus and living that college life. But I'm optimistic that we're going to have a great college football season. And looking at New Year's Day and some bowl games and the playoffs, it's gonna be a great season. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm right there with you, Zach. I'm very optimistic as well that they're going to be able to complete this shortened season, and they'll be able to get everything accomplished and done, and they'll be able to have a playoff come the end of this calendar year as well and into January. That would be exciting. I think it would have been way too challenging to move the season like they originally said to the spring and then follow that back up with a fall season just a couple months later. So I think they're doing the right thing. We've seen a couple in the college football landscape. We've seen a couple hiccups in the ACC conference with some games postponed due to a COVID outbreak. And you got Notre Dame and Wake Forest that just announced they're going to be postponed this Saturday too. But overall, it's been pretty good from what we've seen so far. The nice thing that I've liked from watching some of these early games these past few weekends has been that there's some fans in the stands, and we're not seeing that obviously with NHL with their bubble and the NBA. Or Major League Baseball. The NFL is just a few select teams that's started with a few thousand fans, but that's it. But college football, the Big 12 has fans, and a couple other conferences have some fans, and it's really not to full capacity, obviously, but it's nice to see people in the stands and to see college football being played. So hopefully it's a smooth transition. I think they're doing the right thing. And, I'm looking forward to this weekend with some SEC games, even though there's not a lot of big market games on this weekend, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing some good college football. And then obviously the Big Ten rolling in a few weekends. I'm really looking forward to that as well. So
Yeah, and hopefully get an idea of who's going to be some top draft picks next season. You mentioned a late start to the season and doing the spring ball. I think that would hurt the draft for the NFL. I think it would hurt seniors who didn't want to risk injury. So glad they're pulling this off, and looking forward to seeing what's the upcoming talent for the draft next year will be.
yeah, that will be very exciting. And now that you bring up the NFL draft, Zach, my early prediction for number one pick, I know we're only 2 weeks into the NFL season. I'm going to say the Detroit Lions are on the clock with the first overall pick, and they're going to select Trevor Lawrence from Clemson, and they're going to somehow bring in Dabo Sweeney as well as the new head coach of your Detroit Lions. So
Uh, So you listen to a lot of Detroit media. Are you the first to say this?
I am not. I did hear
Okay.
this mentioned earlier. I think it was a joke. I'm kind of joking as well. Trevor
Okay.
Lawrence will probably go number one overall, but I think Dabo Sweeney is, as everybody can imagine, a long shot. I think Clemson is his dream job, so I don't see that happening.
Yeah, it'd be tough to leave that one.
Absolutely. So anyway, that wraps it up for our episode of Hot Topic this evening. We hope everybody enjoyed it, and we look forward to chatting with everybody soon.